Hi, my name's Gabe. For this problem, we're given a vector v, and we're asked to find a unit vector with the same direction as v and a unit vector with the opposite direction of v. So let's start by just taking a look at the vector v. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to first write this vector in component form. Now this step isn't really necessary, but it'll make some of the computations a little bit easier. So we can write v as the vector in component form as 8, 3, -1. And we also know that since we're looking for unit vectors, so a vector with the same direction as v and a unit vector with the opposite direction of v, we'll want to find the magnitude of v. So let's start there. So the magnitude of our vector v is going to be the square root of 8 squared plus 3 squared plus -1 squared. So this is equal to the square root of 64 plus 9 plus 1, which is the square root of 74. So now we can use this piece of information to go ahead and to find a unit vector with the same direction as v. So our unit vector with the same direction as v will be the vector v divided by the magnitude of the vector v. So let's go ahead and let's write down our vector v, and I'll leave it as we were originally given, as 8i plus 3j minus k. And this is all divided by the magnitude of our vector v, which we found to be the square root of 74. So here we can take a couple steps and simplify this. So we can rewrite this as 8 divided by the square root of 74 times I plus 3 divided by the square root of 74 times j minus, we can write 1 divided by the square root of 74 times k. Now something else we can do here is we can rationalize this denominator, which leaves us with an 8 times the square root of 74 divided by 74 times I plus 3 times the square root of 74 divided by 74 times j minus the square root of 74 divided by 74 times k. Now here we can take one more step and just simplify this 8 divided by 74. So this is equal to 4 times the square root of 74 divided by 37 times I plus 3 times the square root of 74 divided by 74 times j minus the square root of 74 divided by 74 times k. Now for part B, we're asked to find a unit vector with the direction opposite of our original vector v. Well, since we've already found a unit vector with the same direction as v, all we need to do now is we need to find the vector -u, which in this case is just going to be our vector here with a negative multiplied through. So it'll be -4 times the square root of 74 divided by 37 times I minus 3 times the square root of 74 divided by 74 j, and then plus the square root of 74 divided by 74 k. Thank you.